ainihin ko safi modiɓɓe ɗum heɓi problem daga ainihin lokaci ɗan rufa'i ko rushi modiɓɓe to daga ɗon ɗum heɓi damuwa ɗum makaranta ɗum wodi ɗalibi en 600 amma yaka modiɓɓo goo tan hanƴum sababi giɗa to mo warayi sukaɓe to ngari gi'ayi modibbo sey kota.
Have you ever wondered how Nigeria's nomadic children go to school, or if they do at all? For millions of nomadic families reliant on cattle herding, seasonal farming, and migrant fishing, education is a distant dream. Yet, as Nigeria strives for inclusive basic education, these children, key to the nation's economy, are being left behind by sheer virtue of their ancestral occupation. Nigeria has an estimated 50 million nomads comprising pastoralists, farmers, and fisher folks heavily reliant on child labor. The hyperactive life of nomadic adults is disruptive for basic education, making their children unable to fit into the timing, schedule, and curriculum of conventional schools. At the heart of Kachia in southern Kaduna, what is considered a model nomadic school has remained dysfunctional for over 1 year. A shortage of tutors subjected the school's pupils to the daily routine of roaming the premises and returning home after 3 hours without taking classes. MPS Wuronyako sits on 2 hectares of land sited at the very center of Kaduna's famous Ladoga Grazing Reserve, an expansive swath of virgin land spanning 33,114 hectares intended as a refuge for migrant nomads seeking safety away from the underbelly of deadly communal conflicts. The school self-generates its electricity with 24 solar panels of 250 watts each and a backup generator of 100 kVA. It hosts a shea butter processing plant. The nomads and their children have access to a functional grinder, thresher, sheller, dehusker, decorticator, oil expellers, and planters accessible to nomads interested in participating in agricultural trade straight out of school. MPS Wuronyako has a tailoring factory equipped with 33 plus electric-powered sewing, weaving, and knitting machines with a digital board for instructional purpose. There is a honey processing unit and a veterinary clinic with brick-built drinkers and a massive water tank for cattle herding. There is an ICT center equipped with projectors, scanners, UPS machines, and at least 24 desktop computers mounted on wooden cubicles. They all sit idle and gather dust due to lack of teachers to run them and train the students. Jafar Mohammed, age 10, walks 10 kilometers from a rural community called Lambel to school every day after tilling the soil with his farmer father. The boy is unhappy his education has stagnated in primary 5 at Wuronyako. School has helped me communicate better. I believe education will help my future better my lifestyle and also improve my cattle rearing. Salisu Yunusa, MPS Wuronyako's informal administrator, who donated the land on which the school was built in 1997, said the school thrives mainly on non-profit funding and community efforts.
Shugabajo community Wuronyako kuma mi madakin Ladduga mi daga shi Wuronyako shine community leader do Wuronyako Ladduga. Wannan makarantan an bude ta ne 1997. So bangaren nan na farko amsa ito gada Ibeka. Minon community arti waɗi makaranta ɗum hore amin kafin gwamnati jaɓi Ibeka. So juni minon community min kautata sai dai min kocca volunteer wanye wallita to makaranta ɗum sannan min keɓi support daga Nomadic waddani min ɗereji kuma local government waddani min ɗereji seɗɗan seɗɗan amma nomadic waddani min ɗereji ɗi kollitirta e ko nandi e ɗum. So ainihin damuwa amin joni hanƴum woni musamman siya modiɓɓe. So siya modiɓɓe waɗi ainihin min gaɗi providing ainihin sukaɓe jettinɓe ɗo ɗum rago oto ma ɗon ɗo mo yettini mo yana mo waɗi LCE joni ɗo mo yettini amma mo waɗi NCE hamɓe garta ka wallutugo sukaɓe ɗo hande ma sabo e ainihin mo heɓayi mo wari min godi meeting ton waɗi sukaɓe jiya e goɗɗo sankiti
ha sosai e ɗum ɓutta siya jonde jam sabo eɗen wiya ɗo nde gaɗuɓe ɗo o ko eɗum wiya misali ɗan karamin misali ɗum wiyata mo tawta waɗi rikici a o hoccanama waya a o waɗani o goɗɗum ni ne ɗum saɗi tawa gaɗuɗo karatu e tawama to iran ɗum ɗon hundeji e ɗum saɗi e nde yawanci ta tawi heedi hamɓe ɓe hokka shawari a gaɗu ni waɗu ni kaza no hunde ɗum heɓirta cigaba hunde amma e ɗum saɗi tawa gaɗɗo karatu e tawama nder hunde nde woɗa
ɗum woodi ɓiɓɓe inchallah ɓe kewte kamɓe je nayo ɓe gara e woodi garaɗe makaranta ɗum e woodi ko ɓe garata daga waroyi daga Zampara bukkoyi local government waroyi ɗo ladduga to woni kuma dalila waroygo an ɗo Zampara kuma an ɗo ladduga Kaduna state kacce local government dalila fitinaji tashi hankaliji waddi an ɗo shiya jondi jam kanjum waddi an ɗo to Zampara ɗum kanjum waddoyi an ɗo na mbimi tonni mi duray mi remay amma shiya jonde haɗiyan waddiyan ɗo ɗum galati ɗum koni duray mi kanjum ɗum ɓuri na'i ɓuri mi baani na biyu jonde jam wala ɓawo ɗum waɗi ɗum kanjum ɗum turike na'i ɗum turike baali ɗon ma kuma jonde jam wala banye ma haɗum heɓa ɗum waranami woɓɓe ɗum ɗalda e maraya hon woɓɓe ɗum wara e ma musamman
jangirde to jangi sosai ma nden no ma jangirki kin makasudi mai kinin keɓa leydi ndi hoore amin nden nin keɓa no nin gaɗira jande nden to ton leydi ndi woni min ngala ndi hoore amin min jarimo makaranta wuro wala to jooɗo ram min nin ndema wala to nin sira na ewo kanjum wartiri min ɗo awwa cigaba ɗum mi heɓi ɗo e ɗum ɗuuɗi parko de ɓiɓɓe amin e gaɗa makarantaji ɗi ɓangaren boko ɗo to wuro ñaako sannan cigaba ɗum min ji'i fu ɓiɗɗo gaɗayɗo makaranta har o yottina daga farko ha e mo rara ni ngala ɓiɗɗo neɗɗo waɗa goɗɗum ko nandi e layfi sabo himmama e ko no watta o yottina ɗum aji o nattowa ɗum ni kanjum kawai fu to tawɗa matsala a tawa ɓe gaɗata karatu to min ji cigaba jande musamman jande boko kugal gomnati kawai o rarata waɗi yeeso o heɓa yawwa ko waddini natti ɗum sawa majjum mi wodi musamman joni haka min to on meta no mi woni bo kurmajo mi nanata to siya anduki yare ɗum kadi ni yi'i wawɓe ɗum ɓen ɓe keɓa cigaba sosai amma islamiya ko ta yiɗo wonu digirin biyu gaɗuɗa ta jangayi boko to ha joni e duniya maɗa wodi cigaba ay ci baya amma ta jangi boko a jangi islamiya to bono sondudu biyeli ɗiɗi wiyego go'o e ɗon go'o ma e ɗo amma to ni ilimi ɗum ni tan ni waɗi to ɗum ni fa hanjum kilana e lahira hanjum to ni huudi e majjum ɗum anam amfani amma ɗum hanjum mi waɗay moriya majjum daga e duniya kanjum waɗiyam mi waɗi haya islamiya amma mi wi min ni so'oto primary ko nde ɗiɗa e ɓikkoy mi wawa boko hanjum kawai hokkiyam sawa majjum.
While growing up, myself and some of my age mates, late 70s, early 80s, up to early 90s, were enrolled into Nomadic primary school. Primary education is deteriorating seriously across the country, not only in Nomadic. As a result of the situation we found ourselves, the Nomadic education scheme is really affected in many phases.
insecurity, resultant teacher attrition, and a shortfall in critical infrastructure have left many of these nomadic schools in a state of perennial dysfunction. In Nigeria's northern city of Kaduna, many out-of-town nomadic communities face significant security threats due to bandit activity that forces families to abandon their homes and schools by extension. School-age children are left without meaningful social preoccupation. Educators are deterred from performing their duties, and parents, they hold back on enrolling their wards. Kajuru, Giwa, Igabi, and Chikun local governments are particularly affected, including nomadic schools. Galadimawa, an administrative district in Giwa, located about 73 kilometers from the Zara metropolis, hosts 25 nomadic schools, 7 of which were deserted after bandits began raiding its communities in 2018. Nomadic primary school Farindusi is one of such. Its building stands weathered and isolated, its walls a mixture of crumbling mud bricks and peeling plaster that hint at years of neglect. Its tin roof, streaked with rust, sits askew, allowing glimpses of the open sky through its seams. During school hours, the winding dirt road leading to the school's host community is packed with children trudging along in bare feet, bathed with red dust, some with a raft of strong firewood balanced on their heads. Their faces, streaked with sweat and dirt, portray the exhaustion of days spent on domestic chores in place of learning. Hassan Suleiman, the head teacher at NPS Farindusi, said local authorities had transferred its teachers to another school, NPS Gidan Ado, forcing pupils to walk some 4 kilometers of unsafe bush path. But pupils whose parents could not risk daily trekking to neighboring communities discontinued their education. They joined their families in farming, cattle herding, and small trades like firewood sales.
The school, there is insecurity from 2018 to date.
My name is Isa Adamuzoka, a head teacher UBE Primary School Kurbawa, but presently I am now teaching in Nomadic Primary School Gidan Ardo due to insecurity reasons. So the banditry people used to enter the town and scatter everything. So that is the main reason that I was transferred to Nomadic Primary School Gidan Ardo. Banditry things started like about since 6 years back, from 2019 to up to date. So that school, the people are not coming. So the people used to remain in their house because they cannot even come out anytime. So with that reason, so then we just moved to Gidan Ardo Nomadic School. When the thing started, the nomadic teachers find it very difficult to enter the town. So because of that reason, then we take the issue to our LGA headquarters, Giwa. So from there, then they say, so we should look for another nomadic school close to that village.
There are many factors. There are many factors that lead to where we are. You see, factor number 1 is poverty. Number 2, illiteracy. When you combine these 2 things, poverty and illiteracy, I'm sorry, you cannot have any positive development anywhere in the world. These 2 factors. Then coupled with providing an illiterate and a poor man with an arm and ammunition. So just think what will happen. You see? So when poverty is eradicated and people are enlightened, issues like this, you will hardly find, you cannot take away crime altogether as long as human being is existing. But it's going to be seriously mitigated and it's going to be reduced to the minimal level.
Arana ni jangirde wallitai tagu hore mu. Na biyu wallitai al'umma gabago. dalili siya jande e ɗum nder ko haɗata ma leydi jonde jam joni mafi yawa ta tawi janguɓe har jottinɗo secondary school waɗi yeeso a tawtamo nder iri ɓe sukaɓe lalluɓe ɓe yare da sauransu.
Data from the National Commission for Nomadic Education accounted for about 7,413 nomadic schools spread across Nigeria as of 2023, with only about 4,500 captured in its database, accessed by the cable. But how many of these schools are functional, considering their many struggles, remains unclear. Of Nigeria's estimated 50 million nomads, only 10 to 12% is literate. The UNESCO Institute of Statistics says Nigeria has a major out-of-school crisis, with 28 million children between ages 6 and 11 removed from school, and 19.5 million of them residing in rural communities. Further NTNE data shows that only an average of 1.6 million nomadic children are enrolled in school at any given time. About 5.5 million school-age nomadic children are considered out of school, with at least 30,000 functional nomadic schools needed to mop up and re-enroll this figure. A model school the size of MPS Wuron-Yaku, which has a total of 594 students, as of this reporting, needs 50 niche tutors to work optimally, or 12 generalist teachers grounded in nomadic curriculum to work at the targeted student-teacher ratio of 50:1. Data obtained by the cable showed Nigeria had 19,728 nomadic teachers deemed qualified. With 7,413 nomadic schools, this amounts to a national total of 44,478 in required teachers and a disturbing deficit of 24,750. UNESCO recommends a student-teacher ratio of 40:1 for primary schools in developing countries to avoid learning poverty and ease pressure on infrastructure, with a 10% cap for rates exceeding this threshold. Data shows that enrollment in Nigeria's nomadic schools sat at 1.8 million as of 2024, yielding 91:1 in student-teacher ratio, a rate that is in excess of the UNESCO threshold by 125%.
Education is a vital instrument for development. The nomads are a group of people that we treated specially, thereby establishing the nomadic schools in Nigeria to ensure wherever they are, once they form a group that deserve to have a school established for the community development we established, and we employ the services of the relevant and qualified teachers to handle them equally with the public other public schools. The state government entirely is doing a lot to ensure security everywhere. The nomadic schools are also considered and managed equally with other public primary schools, which are not the only that this insecurity is affecting. So all, including the nomadic schools, there are measures taken to ensure that lives are secured through engagement of the community members and the government officials as regards security. There is no nation or a community that will attain to a level of development without considering education as a major or a prime factor. Therefore, the nomads are equal with all citizens of Nigeria. As far as school-age children in Nigeria, they have equal right to education.
Nigeria's Safe School Initiative, intended to guarantee the continuation of education even in conflict, has suffered years of setbacks since 2014 due to funding troubles and lack of a structured policy backing. Delay in reenacting relevant legislation that could reform nomadic education in Nigeria has condemned many disadvantaged children to an uncertain future, robbing them of what they need to escape cycles of poverty and crime.